My name is Leah Weens, and I'm the chair of Sport for Life Cochrane, which is a nonprofit organization that's been running for the last 8 to 9 years. And our goal is to provide support to local sport, recreation, and physical activity providers so that they have access to the most current information, training, resources, and programming content so that they can deliver quality sport experiences for all youth in Cochrane. We wanted to do the survey to kind of check our own assumptions. And so the reason why we did the survey was to make sure that there was a need for multi-sport programming within the schools. Was there a need to support local sport organizations with some training and some networking and some partnership opportunities? And so this was a really first step into starting to create a repository of information that we can then repeat and continue to add on, and also just to see what kind of response we would get and then use it as a learning tool to help us continue to gather this type of information going forward. There was a few results that I found a bit surprising, and one was around the unstructured activity piece. We were assuming that because the youth were not participating as much in organized sport, that they would have increased their time doing unstructured plays, playing at home on the driveway, in the basement or outside with their siblings and their friends. And the survey results did not show that. They showed really no change in the amount of unstructured activity. And there was definitely a decrease in the organized sports. So I guess the concerning piece around that would be that overall the activity of our youth decreased during COVID time. The survey results also showed that almost 89% of the participants were planning to return to sport once the COVID restrictions were lifted. So that was a really optimistic finding, and it's a little bit in contradiction to, I think, what's happening in other parts of the country where we've seen surveys where their intent to return back to sport was actually quite a bit low. The other piece that came out of it was really this need to work together. And so since this survey was created, we've started a sport network, sort of like a mini sport council, where we get together with all the sport organizations on Zoom every 2 months. And a lot of the conversation is around how can we work together to create accessible programming? How can we have more youth participating in our sports? So our goal with the survey is to also use the results as a way to increase the profile of sport and physical activity as a way to enhance the mental health and social connections that can be created through participation. So sport and activity are a vehicle to really healthy development and leadership development, and it's much more than just what happens on the field. And so we want that message to get permeated across our community.
Having experienced coaches in both basketball and soccer to come in, and we're able to explain rules of the game and reasons why certain drills would be effective. And then it keeps the kids motivated to work because they can actually see where they're going to go and see the point of an exercise.
Nice. And so as the phys ed teacher, did you find that helpful as well? It sounds like you got some ideas that you could take away and integrate into your other teaching going forward.
Oh yeah, it was great. They would come in once a week, and essentially both units, I would take the drills they did and I would expand upon them during the weeks.
Nice. Excellent. And so what would you say is the most kind of unique or innovative aspect of the Cochrane Youth Sport Hub?
I would say probably the innovative factor would be that they're bringing in coaches who are experienced in the first place. It's not a unit that's just handed over to me.
In the fall was uncertainty, and because we were in different schools, so from one school to the next, things don't work exactly the same way. So it was to figure out with each school what can be possible, how can we make it possible. So just a lot of going back and forth and bouncing ideas. So despite the challenge, seeing that everybody was willing to make it work and being flexible and trying to find new ways to make it work was really was excellent. The value of the Sport Hub is connecting different members of the community. So sport providers, so for example, the coach, basketball coach Nevada, and the soccer coach at Holy Spirit. One coach is super experienced with different age group. The other sport providers not so much. So they were both willing to connect with each other, to bounce idea off of each other. And so you have a basketball coach and a soccer coach meeting to see how they can learn from each other. So I think that's a huge win for our community, but also for the kids to see that people can work together. And like Russell mentioned, and having like the phys ed teacher involved and learning from the coaches, and the coaches learning from the phys ed teacher. I think it's always big success to see that happening.
Okay, so one final question for each of you. Maybe just share a highlight or a very special moment maybe that came out of the Sport Hub for you. We'll start with Russell.
So I had there was a group of brothers who were in different age groups, obviously, who for each sport, they were just terrified of starting it. They would refuse. They would just want to sit on the bench. They would say they don't like that sport. They don't do it. But with the encouragement of the kids were nice, but the coaches themselves were able to work really closely with the kids. So by the time the 4 weeks was up, they were now complaining that we weren't going to be playing soccer or basketball anymore.
I heard from a mom that her kid had the basketball hoop at home. They've been playing basketball at home for years, but never, when asked to join the basketball, the league, it was, oh no, I don't, like, I'm shy, I'm tired, I don't think I can do it. And then they had the opportunity to do the basketball at Holy Spirit, and by the end they were begging their parents to join the league. And they started this season this month, and they just asked, like, make sure you sign me up for the next season. And that was just after one practice. So just to see that what we're trying to do is to build the kids' confidence to try new sports and to engage in sports, and to hear that story that, yeah, that it's working. It happened.
That actually happened with the soccer too, where people were talking about signing up.
Hi, my name is Nevada, and I've been coaching basketball with Cochrane Minor Basketball for the past 8 years. I've recently had the privilege of working with Sport Hub and teaching basketball to 2 of the elementary schools here in Cochrane. I've really enjoyed my part in the Sport Hub program. I think it's been beneficial to offer these various sports to the Cochrane schools. It helps to expose the kids to so many different activities that they may not have had a chance to try out otherwise, whether it's due to financial restraints or possibly scheduling within the family that they just can't get their kids to practices or games. But it's been a great opportunity to teach the kids while they're in school. Each week that I come back, the kids are eager to learn more. They are asking questions. The ones that were reserved and shy or maybe a little too cool are participating. They're having fun. They're engaged. And it's just really great to see. Over the 4 weeks, I also see a lot of improvements in the students. Their self-confidence has risen. They're proud to show me what they've learned. And they're always asking, when are you coming back again? When are we gonna learn more basketball, which is really great.
Well, I can't wait to see this continue to grow. I understand the Sport Hub will be continuing, COVID permitting, depending on how the winter goes. So I look forward to hearing success. And I guess just a final thank you to Makadiff Sports for allowing this program to happen. Thank you both so much for your time and your commitment.